Welcome back, boys and girls, to another exciting episode of Full Circle. I'm extra excited today because, as you can see, Jared's been our model here. We are in a new studio space. It took us 21 episodes, but with your contributions?
Retributions? No.
Contributions. With your viewership, we were able to afford a new studio. Actually, it wasn't because we don't have a Patreon and no one has given us money, not even YouTube. But we did it for you anyway. We might have a Patreon later. Maybe. I don't know. But the point is, we're brand new. We got a new format, kinda. But we have a new space. We're looking good. And I'm Oda Harmon Jr. You can find me at Oda Harmon Jr. at all social medias. And, Full Circle, look us up too.
And I'm Jared Fradette. You can find me on social media at ToonVelo. Our new format is 3 topics, which rolling back, we will be talking about the Telltale Games, how they shut down last week.
Unfortunately, God be with everyone there who was affected.
Thoughts and prayers. We will be talking about Jump Force, the new anime fighting game, with like Goku and Frieza. And they're all from Dragon Ball, but with like Goku and Naruto and Yugi
and Luffy
and Gon
and Yugi Moto and a whole slew of shonen characters that's going to be great. We're going to talk about its craziness and who should be included in that nonsense.
Just everybody. But first and foremost, we have exciting news from the game/sports industry, eSports. The Ninja is going to be honored on ESPN's cover.
Yes, you heard that right. Ninja, the pro gamer, most famously known for, his Fortnite abilities, and because Fortnite is, the best thing since sliced bread, cheese.
The best thing since PUBG.
We
have fun.
But yeah, so, he's pretty much a gaming celebrity, and now he's the official face of gaming and esports with his ESPN cover and his coverage on him. So what does that mean for the gaming industry? What does that mean for esports specifically? Well, that can mean a lot of things. One, esports is being taken seriously.
More seriously.
More seriously. Maybe not the level of attention or seriousness that it needs, but definitely, if you look back 10 years ago and to now, there was Evo that was kind of important, fighting games, but now, League of Legends and Dota and insert shooter name here.
Right.
And they've now gotten their place and seat at the table. No offense to the shooters out there. It's just, they're a dime a dozen. Damn.
He just said it. He put it out there. He doesn't like you.
My point being is that esports now has a seat not at the gaming table, but at the legit sporting world table.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that mean? Is it just a fad? Is it a passing fancy? Has it peaked? What do you think, Jared?
So I don't think it's a fad. As you said, we've perpetually had more strength of this. But I'm going to surprisingly kind of agree with people. I don't think it should be on ESPN. ESPN, the sports channel, because I don't know, there's so much to cover there. It feels like it's just getting an honorable token mention on ESPN.
Like when they talk about the Cricket World Championships?
The spelling bee gets on ESPN, like chess finals get on ESPN. It's like the thing they use to fill the void between the 500 hours of football coverage.
So you think it would be better if it got a more prominent seat at the table if it was covered in the same sense that basketball, football, and baseball was? Would you be fine with it then, or you just really think it needs its own other channel, like on a ESPN2 or a new created channel? TBS is doing their coverage of esports, right, which I think they actually do a good job, actually.
Well, see, it's a difficult question, right? Because essentially where we are right now in esports is a essential vertical monopoly, right? Because let me ask you this question.
Right.
Who owns football? Who created it and owns it and gets all the profits from it?
Well, I don't know who created it, but
who singularly owns baseball?
Well, the NFL, I guess, owns football.
But that's like a conglomerated, right?
Of the teams and the organizations.
Right. Like Unreal Engine and Microsoft and whoever else, that they have made the game.
right? So they retain some sort of legal control over the game. So it's like they can dictate who can play in their league, where their game is being shown, and then choose what content to then show out. So we're in this weird Wild West pioneer area here, because it's like do they just want to have an online stream of their game? Do they want to try and create their own TV channel?
So you're saying the problem is since the studio or whoever made the game, whether it be Microsoft or another studio or PlayStation or Nintendo themselves or, realistically Capcom or,
Right.
that they pretty much get to decide everything from beginning to end, and that thus hurts esports, is your argument.
Part of the argument, yes.
Part of the argument, okay.
My point being, so we can't have, argument being, we can't have a full, eSports PN? eSports in. I'm trying to make a pun on ESPN.
No, I was like, eSports PN. I kind of like that eSports PN.
We can't.
Let's go with that.
Right.
Da-da-da, da-da-da. Wait, no, it should be like the turn it on the console.
Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
Right, we can't have a full dedicated channel to it until all the games kind of agree to play nicely and all the companies agree to play nicely.
Okay, I agree with what you're saying in the sense that, you have Dota World Championships, you have the League of Legends World Championships, you have the Overwatch League,
Overwatch,
League Championships, you have the Call of Duty, you have the Halo, and I feel like sports has already got this right. So there's different sports, you have baseball, football, basketball, and I get these are different games, but I feel like there should be something with, genres should be together. Kind of I feel like EVO's perfected it. EVO, you have, the Smash Grand Final, the Street Fighter Grand Final, the Mortal Kombat Grand Final, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Throughout the year, you do have other smaller tournaments that's exclusively for that game, but there isn't now it's time for the only Street Fighter finals where only the best Street Fighter players come, and then later in the year, it's the Smash Brothers final. And no, it's all fighting games in one at the same time. And I think that method has worked because, EVO is a well-oiled machine. We know when it's going to be. We know how you qualify for it and everything. While the other ones are just, I wouldn't say random. Okay, so we both play Pokemon.
Right.
If we want to go to the Pokemon World Championship, we have to be in Tennessee on a Tuesday between the hours of 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. And I'm a working adult, so I don't know how they want me to be there. Or I need to be in California on a Sunday between 4 hours of the day. And then the other city in California on a Tuesday, and I need to do this bunny hop throughout the year.
This weird clunky movement of getting it going.
Yeah, and more or less, there are people who've already made it there and have that seniority, so they get invited next year, so they don't have to do that. But the entry for new players, if you don't have an abundance, and I mean an abundance of free time and availability, is hard.
And that's literally just to go to the competitions, let alone actually practicing and playing for it.
Well, the thing is, if you win and progress, then you need a more abundance of free time that isn't on a set schedule, a traditional schedule. So the thing about EVO is when it's going to be. It's at a good time. It's a blocked off thing. And these other big tournaments, you have the people who are famous and do it, but it just seems like there's no entry for new people. So, kind of what you're saying, if the companies got together and was all right, here's the MMO league. I'm against game-specific leagues. The Overwatch League is popular. You get it. It's cool. But I don't think the esports can't evolve. I feel like if we keep trying to do this one game, one league thing, again, it needs to be an EVO format. Fighting games.
Right.
These are all the fighting games. And not saying there aren't, there are other smaller terms that exist, but no, this is the premier fighting game. So this is the premier insert genre league. And then, you have the sponsors and things, and it just works from there.
Right. More, I guess, since we're talking about it in the realm compared to sports, more like an Olympic-style event.
Yeah.
Right?
Even
Michael Phelps is free to compete in any swimming competition he wants. Be that, the 500-meter, the butterfly, the freestyle, the backstroke.
Yeah,
whatever.
and he can. There's other swimming competitions that's not the Olympics that he can go and win and be successful. But this is the premier. This is the world.
Right.
This, EVO encompasses everybody in the world. In American sports, yeah, they say they're the world championships, but they're the Americans, so not really.
But so like, think about like soccer, even when the big tournaments aren't happening, they're still, the North American Cup or whatever. So you can still keep those. Those things can still, but if esports is supposed to grow, like I said, and have world, I keep repeating it, they just really need to do that. And if they don't, I feel like if we keep going around this, because new games are always going to keep coming out.
Right.
So, so instead of being like, okay, the next Overwatch comes out, instead of it being like, now we got to create a new league and have it popular, it can just fit into the already predetermined genre league.
Right. And as new games come and go, you can phase out older ones and such.
Yeah, without having this big
hullabaloo of like, it's shut down, we have to have a new venue, I booked on top of other people.
And I think it's beneficial for the player. So let's say I'm really good at League of Legends, and now League of Legends has ran its course, assuming it does. I mean, it might go on to the end of time. But it's an MMO, so I can take my base understanding of MMO and those skills and jump into the other one that's popular. And so those players aren't like, just, I'm good at this one game, and then if that one game ever phases out, then you're unimportant. But if you're good at a genre, like I'm not saying Street Fighter skills transfer to Smash Brothers, but there's a finite, you understand fighting games.
Right. You can't just button mash because then you'll lock up the moves and they won't work. There's timing involved, hitboxes involved.
Yeah.
And you get used to those.
So I'm basically lobbying for giant genre leagues of esports, and then
consolidation of the games to a more organized entity.
And then maybe, I don't know what organization this would be, but then maybe a giant umbrella that oversees all of that. Like some type of commission.
I don't know.
Maybe not all of that. You're right, because there's not one that oversees all the sports.
I am the sport league. Like that'd be funny. That'd be interesting. We didn't talk about this because you didn't really get to that point, but I just have to throw in here. I hate anytime I hear anybody who's like a football fan, like baseball fan. Why would you just want to watch someone play video games instead of playing it yourself? I don't know, Bob. Why don't you get off the couch and go throw the pigskin in the backyard instead of watching football players play?
Like, that's an excellent point.
I just don't understand that
mindset.
That mindset. It's very confusing.
I think because what they're thinking is they're watching someone be physical, but you're not watching someone be physical. You're watching someone just sit there. But I'm like, but you're not just watching. The camera isn't.
It's the mentality like, well, anybody can just play a game.
Well, that's not true.
That's not true.
That's far from true. I mean, technically, that's as true as anyone can play football. Me and you can go outside right now and play the game.
I'm just imagining the Charlie Brown scene. Okay, you're gonna hold the football, right, Odell? Yeah. You're not gonna take it away, right? No. Run, jump, fall.
Yeah, but to play it at a professional level,
that takes.
In the same way people are impressed at the technicality of the sport. The same way if I'm watching someone play Smash Brothers, because since I consider myself a good player, it's like, wow, what they just did was amazing. How they got back on the level, how they dodged the attack, how they turned it around.
Right, I think we've all seen the thing where the finesse of like the two foxes, Final Destination, under the level of just like fighting, like just held up by pure attack power.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's like even if that's a modded version of the game, like the skill it takes to understand what's going on and just So I'm sorry. I guess I didn't finish your thought about the.
Oh no, that was basically what I had to say about that. It's crazy the amount of infighting that can occur, or how skilled you have to be at various fighting games. Speaking of fighting games,
Jump Force is coming out. If you don't know, Shōnen Jump.
The name, I get it now.
Oh. Shōnen Jump is a manga publisher that all your favorite animes probably come from. Not all of them, but definitely the most popular ones.
Like 90% of them.
Yes, and they're coming out with this great fighting game that combines universes such as Dragon Ball Z, with Bleach, with Naruto, with Hunter x Hunter,
with One
Piece, so on and so forth.
Right, you've probably seen the videos on Facebook. It looks like the videos like Goku versus Superman. Superman's not in it. That's DC. But
that's essentially what two characters from wild different universe fighting in like a random city, just doing crazy super attacks. And at first, I was worried about. I was like, this looks kind of iffy. But they did the right thing. They're throwing logic out the window, and they're just putting everybody in there with their most powerful moves just to go at it.
Right. So amongst the group, amongst the cast, there is Yugimoto from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes.
And he'll be attacking with like monsters, and I think if there were 5 cards I could choose for him to fight with, it would be left leg of Exodia, right leg of Exodia, arms, and Exodia.
The head of Exodia.
Head of Exodia. Exodia. Obliterate.
It's just him trying to draw all 5 cards before they like one hit him.
Hang on. Here we go.
And so Ryuk and Light from Death Note will be there. I assume Light will take a role like Yugi, just kind of standing in the background around Ryuk fights, I guess. Or maybe it's you trying to trace the character's name on screen.
Go cool. Well, that's gonna be hard for like the Japanese fighters, right? Getting the kanji right.
Oh god.
Right, it's not just.
I'm pretty sure there'll be some type of auto aim.
Right. It's like the old Harry Potter games. Like if you master, like I can spell Wingardium Leviosa, then you master it and you can just like then use the spell. Goku.
So clearly, with characters like Yugi Moto and Ryuk and Light from Death Note and just everybody realistically.
Gold, Hisoka.
Yeah, Gold, Hisoka.
Kurapika.
I'll try to think of the more non-fighting characters, but in there.
Oh.
So we were thinking, out of Shonen's rich history, and since all logic is out the window, the characters from Yu Yu Hakusho recently got announced.
Right.
Who is not already on the roster? Who really needs to be on the roster?
Lelouch v Britannia, Code Geass.
That is Jared's pick.
He just stands there looking pretentious. I command you, run off the side and go out of bounds.
I imagine he would probably just pull out guns and jump in a mech and his super would just be like, and then the character's like, I don't know,
death by thousands of stabs.
I want Soma from Food Wars. He's my zany pick. So if you've never seen Food Wars, it's basically a cooking show anime.
Cooking Mama.
Why not? Why not?
Or a Muscle Cat from Monster Fighters.
Or what's the other the cooking game from the Switch? Overcooked.
Sanji from One Piece.
Yeah. Sanji versus Soma.
Yes.
Okay. But Soma, unlike Sanji, doesn't have any special powers. He just cooks with spirit. And I just want he'll probably have a knife, but I just want like all his super moves to just be cooking amazing food or like bad food where he's just like, poison sushi. Oh no, I ate the blowfish. You didn't take out the poison part. And I want his super to be like, when he's like about to lose a competition, he does like secret spice. This is anime grandfather's secret recipe that's impossible. And he
victory meal. Whenever he just sits down and stops fighting.
Yeah, and they eat it and like they're like, this is the best thing I ever ate.
It's just like the single teardrop and they just like explode.
You know what? It's like the single tear. They like become like Buddhists and just like walk off the screen.
I am now Zen. Perfect.
Who else you got?
Let's see. I mean, obviously you gotta have all the JoJos. Any of the Joestars.
That. And who they fight? Dracula? Who they fight?
Basically, Dio.
He's Dracula, right?
Okay, so they're fighting vampires throughout like the course of their history, and then various ones come back up. Like if they didn't necessarily kill them, they just like trapped in the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Eventually, they come back.
JoJo's gonna be great. Cause you know what the super's gonna be? Just like
that's all you need.
It's gonna like start him, and it's gonna like get bigger, and then the whole screen's just gonna be that.
Oh God, is he gonna win the match? Yes.
So we had JoJo. Oh, let's see. Who else is on our list?
Let's see. We got 7 Deadly Sins.
Yeah. You know, I want them to be there, but I feel like Netflix's poor handling of the series is like just killing it for me.
It's available in Japan. Why can't we view it now?
Like, I want to be Diane, but I think for like all the wrong reasons.
You just want to like crush people?
I think her super would be like boob hug or something.
She has her mallet, her giant hammer. She got her weapon.
I know she got it, but you know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
You know what they're gonna do.
Okay. Blue Exorcist?
Blue. You know what? I would normally say no because I'm not the biggest fan of the show, but why not? I mean, literally at this point,
Who's also a good cook.
Damn. You know what? That's just like...
That's just the theme.
That's just the theme. Just...
You know what's really annoying? I know they're not going to include anybody from My Hero because they're getting their own different game. And that makes me very sad.
Yeah, and the My Hero game kind of sucks.
Right?
Like, I mean, it's not out, but I've played it at, various events, E3 and PAX, and it's
like, yep.
It just continues to suck.
Ugh.
It's like a very broken game. It's not balanced. It's just kind of... I mean, is it fun? I like My Hero. It was fun for like a minute or two.
But, yeah.
I mean, Bakugo is made for this game. He's just like, I'll murder you all. Just every character he faces, like, his mentality would just translate into...
Ooh, hit the mic. Sorry, people at home. Final focus blast.
AP shot.
AP shot. Armor piercing?
Yeah.
Yes. That always confused me because, like, I swear the sub made it something different. But, blast from the past, Shaman King.
Oh, I used to love the Shaman King theme song. Is Zach Bell shonen? It was on Fox Kids.
Was it?
I don't know. I don't know if Zach Bell is, but if Zach Bell is shonen, then Zach Bell.
Yes.
Because it's another group of characters that's going to be like... spell. Magic. Spell. Well, since we can't get My Hero, let's go with Black Clover because it's another new, shonen property that's still in its infancy compared to all the other ones.
But we already said Naruto is part of the universe.
Oh.
It's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing.
Oh, Jerry.
You're my rival, and I'm standoffish. I'm gonna come out, but I've got Moxie. Yeah. Legs.
Austin and Naruto do kind of scream a lot.
They just scream all that. They just literally. There's the montage. I'm doing laundry. I'm like, dude.
Like, isn't this like where Asta's one of the few characters that screams a lot that I'm kind of okay with?
In terms of screaming, like, he's just a notch below Naruto, and Naruto's like, I can't stand.
You know what? This is why I respect Asta. He doesn't have the whole tragic background. No one loved me.
That's fair.
Oh, man, I got real dramatic. Sorry about that. If you're watching, I'm sorry about all of that.
Yeah, at least that is the right... Like, he at no point laments the fact that he was bullied as a kid.
He doesn't lament the fact that he has no magic in a world where...
everyone has magic.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, he got over it. Like, he's always been like...
He's never seen it as a problem.
Yeah.
That I'll appreciate him for that. Yes. You got Soul Eater.
Ooh. I love the Soul Eater universe. I hate the anime because they really...
just...
botch the story.
Threw everything out the window. Ugh.
It's, yeah, even though I have my personal problems with Maka, that's because of the anime.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we got Maka, Stein, like, Death.
Black Star.
Maka's father and Death would just be... They're the perfect mix of zany and for real power. Like...
Oh, yeah. Their zaniness is acceptable because they have the actual power to back it up.
Yeah, Soul Eater, Food Wars, definitely need to be in there. Shaman King for those classic OG anime watchers.
Trigun for the real classic anime watchers.
Ooh, that. In his super ultra, wherever they call it, final trigger smash, just be like angel mode.
He never goes angel mode though, does he?
Does he?
No, he just like gets the gigantic arm cannon.
Oh, good enough.
He kind of goes like Akira on them.
Oof.
I don't think Akira was shown in Jump.
I don't know.
Don't fact check me on that. Or do. I should learn.
Yeah. it's a movie, so...
It's true. I'm like, does show... Was there any manga for it? Ooh, we are showing our weakness here.
I don't know. I wasn't born, okay?
Right?
I wasn't born.
I don't remember things that happened before I existed.
Yeah. And Akira was a cult classic before I was even born. Akira was one of those things I only watched because people assumed I had to watch it, and I felt bad for not watching it.
It's a good movie. I like it.
I watched it, and I said it was good, but I don't know if I thought it was good or if I thought I was supposed to say it was good.
The animation was so smooth, Odell. They had, like, 40 frames per second, which is like insane.
I mean, but story-wise though, I'm not sure if I thought it was good. You know what? I digress.
That's a topic for another time. Was Akira actually good, or are we just looking at it through nostalgia filters? Yeah.
But you know what wasn't good? Earlier this week, Telltale Games had a major layoff. Yeah, so we were having fun, but to be serious about the gaming industry for a second, about 250 people were laid off. They filed for bankruptcy. They're currently running a skeleton crew to, I guess, tie up loose ends.
Right, loose ends like all the games that will never be produced but probably should have been.
Yeah. And I haven't bought it yet, but one of the games caught up by this is the final season of The Walking Dead. Episode 1 is already out, and Episode 2 is about to come out, but now is canceled until further notice. The upcoming Stranger Things title, that's canceled.
Game of Thrones will never come out.
Yeah, any features. Yeah, The Wolf Among Us and Game of Thrones, those 2 seasons aren't coming out. And we always talk about and basically just, compliment the game industry for being one of the biggest industries on the planet, and always say how we're amazed that people don't understand how much money they make. But unfortunately, this seems to be a trend that happens a lot more often, that a lot of studios who presumably are doing good, or what we assume to be doing good, just seem to always shut down, and quite a few hundreds of people, end up without jobs that were talented. I shared a tweet with you that, one guy said that he was offered no pension, and he worked many late hours, overtime, extra nights, with no overtime, just, out of pure passion and workload, and received nothing but the boot.
That's why I always go home at exactly 5 p.m.
Yeah, and I don't know, Jared, I just think it's weird that in the game industry, a lot of these studios we see just get shut down, and unexpectedly, too.
I mean, sort of, right? I feel this kind of mimics the .com bubble burst, right, several years ago, where everybody in Silicon Valley, like, they were the next it company, like, and they were gonna make it. And so you just saw all of these startups, like hundreds of startups, just doing things, but they weren't actually doing anything. So, which I'm not saying that's what Telltale Games was doing, but
because clearly, they
were doing things.
I wouldn't say they created a genre, but they basically mainstreamed the genre of games. I don't know what would you call it.
Interactive storytelling.
Yeah, interactive storytelling. Like the Monkey Island style games where you don't necessarily play, but you're kind of just driving along a narrative with choices.
The digital version of the play along the books. The night comes to stab you. Do you dodge or try to attack? Oh god, no.
Yeah. And I was recently reading an article, it was posted by Polygon, that it was saying that the games did more for their TV counterparts than the actual studio. So the Game of Thrones games helped make the TV show and its intellectual properties more valuable because, they originate, same with Walking Dead, they originate from books or a graphic novel.
It basically just became free advertisement for the show.
Yeah, which is weird that, it was able to do more for, a TV studio than its own, creator of the content. But, I mean, honestly, it's just unfortunate. My thoughts and prayers to everyone out there. As someone who works for free all the time and everything that I do, I understand the grind. But for someone who's actually making a legit living and making real good money to go back to square one, I can't imagine how hard it must be.
Well, I'm sure there's some solace in the fact that most of these people, I think, will probably be hired or picked up by other studios. And my guess is...
They do have a good track record, so...
Right? My guess is Telltale Games itself, even though it's filed for bankruptcy, will soon be acquired by a different company. And we might yet see the finished products of these, as they buy the patents and the IPs for these.
Yeah, and it's weird because, you have, the studios that are, like, basically in bed with Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, like Bungie, they're probably not going nowhere. Mm-hmm. Game Freak, they're...
right?
They're not
the Pokemon company.
Yeah, they're not going nowhere. And then PlayStation, has like Santa Monica Studios, which, they're almost one for one with the parent company. But, I just hate to see some of the smaller guys. And I thought Telltale was up there. As far as I knew, I thought those games sold like hotcakes.
I
wouldn't say the genre had became stagnant. I mean, it was still as popular as ever.
It's true. That being said, I've never bought their game, so...
Oh, Jerry. I'm not saying you're the problem.
Yeah. I mean, I even though I enjoyed, like, Life is Strange, like, I never bothered playing all the way through it.
It didn't resonate with me as a person, and I'll leave it at that.
It was okay. It was okay. Yeah.
But like I said earlier, I hope this trend doesn't continue. It honestly might, though.
I think what has happened is just that the company, gaming's hot. It's a hot industry. There's a lot of money to be made, and a lot of companies and upstarts like to expand really quickly, and bite off more than they can chew.
I can see that. Do you think Intel's because maybe they were producing too many of the type of games and not receiving enough profit to continue to produce those type of games?
I mean, I think filing for bankruptcy answers that question.
Well.
Sorry, being honest.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's just... It's almost a fact of life.
That's the telltale of life?
Oh, too soon.
Too soon. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess like in Toy Story's case, I mean, Toy Story, Toys R Us case, the company itself was fine. It was just more, businessmen being businessmen that kind of screwed them over. So far, we know that the studio could have been A-okay. It might have been just someone who didn't care about what they were doing. Just a deal was a deal was a deal. And maybe somebody got rich and didn't care at what cost they got rich at. Cause we don't know. We don't have the details.
Oh no, with the inside scoop. Ooh.
Oh yeah, like the white man's waiting for me after the show and they're gonna like toss me in there and be like, "You want Full Circle to keep being a thing?"
Flower Bureau insides.
Wait, what?
FBI.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So I guess that's our take on Telltale Games.
We want from Jump Force craziness. Just go all out. Hell, put Space Dandy in there. Make him a shonen manga, and then put Space Dandy in there. 'Cause I love Space Dandy, QT, and Whiskers there.
They just wait, it's not Whiskers.
It's not Whiskers.
Maybe forget his name now. Meow.
Meow. See, Whiskers was viable.
It's true. And you've heard our. That's our opinion on Jump Force, and you heard our opinion on eSports and where that's going. And again, congratulations to Ninja.
Yeah, and thoughts and prayers to everyone at Telltale. As always, I'm your host with the most, coast to coast, Odell Harmon Jr., 5-man Odell Harmon Jr.
And I'm Jerry Fradette with none of that at Toon Velo. Join us again next week for another exciting episode of Full Circle.
Have a great week, everybody.